Hello, and we are live once again on another Tuesday. And today I have a guest in my house, or a guest in the house. So we have Ella Orr with us today. And before we get into our topic, I'd like Ella, if you could just take a minute to tell people who you are, just in case somebody doesn't know you.
Thank you, Gillian. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your wonderful live series. I'm Ella Orr. I'm based over in Leicestershire, which is in the middle of England in the UK. But once I get talking, you'll probably notice a very strong London accent coming out, because that's where I was born and brought up. I live, as I say, in the middle of the country, and I've been running my social media marketing business for the last 4 years. But before that, I was a teacher for a very, very long time, for decades. It was definitely decades. But what I've done, hopefully, is transfer all those skills from my teaching now into my social media marketing business. And I primarily offer training and consultancy in social media marketing, but with a particular focus on personal branding. That's a topic I love to talk about.
Awesome. And the topic that we came to discuss today is visibility has no age limit. So just as a caveat, both Ella and I are 21 and holding, just in case anybody's wondering. but in actuality, here's the trigger for this topic. Two things. The first thing was a negative, and then there was a positive. So the negative was, as everybody knows, I'm into video, and I'm always watching other people's social media posts about video tools, because if it's something that could help people, I like to pass it along. And I saw a video where somebody was talking about a video tool that people could use, and they threw in this little line of, it's so easy, people over 50 will be able to use it. And I was just like, what? Like, come on. Are we not in, like, this is the end of Pride Month. We have, BLM. We have so many different things telling us, stop discriminating against people. Yeah. And then I went, why is it okay to slam a whole group of people based on their age? And we do it for people who are older. We do it for people who are younger. So this is no age limit, meaning you can be young and old on all spectrums, and people are defining what we can do and what we can't do based upon a number. So that really got my goat. But then the positive was you. I saw your post on LinkedIn with your champagne glass, happy birthday to me. It was a fabulous post, and I loved it because you were embracing your age. You were celebrating your age, and you're not the only one. I've seen a lot of people posting recently about their birthday, and they're like, I don't care. I am what I am. But as we talked about before we even started today, we bring all of our years of experience to what we do. So you're getting all those years of teaching with you, Ella, as you're doing your social media. You know social media, but you also know how to teach it to other people. That is a secret sauce. So we have to kick this bucket to the curb here.
Exactly.
Stop
Definitely.
It. Just stop
exactly.
It.
Stop it. Well, yeah, we're striking out, aren't we, Gillian? Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And I absolutely applaud you, Ella, because you are on more than just LinkedIn. You are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I hear you on Clubhouse. I can't say you're visible on Clubhouse. But I hear you on Clubhouse. And have you at any time ever, like when you started to get into social media, go, I can't do Instagram. That's for young people. How have you struggled with any of these age shaming, for want of a word, ageism?
It is age shaming. It certainly is, Gillian. But Yeah, I mean, obviously, I did have those feelings of, oh, should I be doing this when I first started working in social media marketing. But I think what inspired me was certainly seeing other people of my age going out there and putting themselves out there, you know, posting about being their age. They weren't sort of trying to hide anything. They weren't lying in any kind of way. You know, they were just putting themselves front and center of their social media accounts. Excuse me, whether it was personal accounts or for their business. So I thought, well, you know, if they can do it, so can I. But also, you know, a huge part of working in the industry that I'm in is that, you know, you do have to shout about it. You do have to let people know. And if you are carrying away behind, you know, you're not making yourself visible. I mean, obviously, there's another issue with this visibility thing, because not everybody feels comfortable about being visible. If they're sometimes if people are introverts, or you know, they feel that there's certain things that are stopping them from putting themselves front and center, then I understand and appreciate that. But I certainly don't think that you should allow your age to stop you from posting your photo, your picture, your image on social media. It certainly shouldn't stop you from doing video. Definitely not. You know, and we know that video content is so important on our channels. And it's also important not just on our social media, but on our websites, including social media, video content, and so just putting your face out there. It's really, really important. But obviously, a lot of people get sort of hung up with the fact that, you know, oh, I've got this, I've got wrinkles, I've got grey hair, I've got a middle-age spread, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that's normal. That's what being normal. So, yes. You know, I'm all for embracing normality. That's what I say.
Oh, and I feel it's almost as if we have to step forward and be ourselves, because that gives everyone else permission to join the party. If we have this illusion that you must be young, perfect, this, that, well, if you can't check all those boxes, you'll say, I guess I don't get to join. So I think the ordinary people like me, we need to get in front of the camera. And I struggled for years to not pretty enough, not this enough, not that enough. And then one day I just went, enough. I can do this. It's about your message. It's always about your message. It's not about who you are. It's what you are bringing to help people. That's your gift. Who cares what we look like, really?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that upsets me, Gillian, is that there's a lot of business owners who are stopping themselves from being as successful as they can possibly be in their business because of the fact that they're worried about posting a photo of themselves. They're worried about talking about things that may give their age away, you know. Yes. But I mean, you know, we were on that Clubhouse room last night, weren't we? And there was some fantastic storytelling about our school days. Because our school days were so interesting, you know, being at school in the 70s, in the 80s, it was so different to now. And we had such a lot. So this is the thing, you know, in our storytelling, there's a richness, there's a depth. And this is coming straight from the people who've experienced it. You're not reading this in a book. This isn't secondhand. This is from people like us who've lived it, breathed it. So, you know, there's rich content in there to use in your social media storytelling. So I think, as I say, you know, for business owners who are saying, oh, I can't, you know, post a picture of myself, I can't go on video because of this, because of that, you know, I need this to be tidy, I need to have, you know, had dyed my hair or whatever, you know, and I'm not making any judgments, because I mean, some of us are embracing the grey as I am, others feel more comfortable with, you know, something different. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, feel comfortable in your own skin. Yeah. And stop thinking that people are going to be judging you. Because to be quite honest with you, if people are judging you, they're not your ideal clients. That's the point.
Gold. That is so true. That is so true. And I actually had somebody make a comment on one of my posts. I think it was about the video cover story, and they were hesitant from doing a video cover story because they said it's just another way for people to judge us by doing video. And I honestly said, I don't look at people judging me, that word judging me. I just I see it as they get to know, like, and trust me, and they might take a pass. They might just say, like how that woman talks and she's this and she's that. That's okay, because you're not my ideal customer. So you might as well move along and let the other people see. So it's not about judging. It's about letting people see who you are to see if you resonate. You're a good fit, because we are not a good fit for everyone. We're just not.
Yes. No. And that, as you say, that builds into that. I know this has probably been talked about so many times before on your lives, but that just builds into that whole authenticity piece. If you're showing up as you truly are, and you're talking and with that richness of life experience, that wisdom, your successes, but also your failures, because that's all part of the life journey, and that's all part of living a fulfilling life, isn't it? So if you can talk about all of that in your social media content, but also in your conversations and your connections, then that to me that's what it's all about. That's what really that's what hitting that sweet spot is, in terms of you knowing that you're going to make a good connection with an ideal client, because you both bring so much to your relationship with each other, as we know we do with our connections on LinkedIn.
Well, and look at us right now. We just met today. We met today for the very first time. And yet I feel like I've known you for ages, because I watch your videos. We talk in the DMs. We talk in the comments. We hang in the same circles, so it's like we're part of the same party. And video really has a lot to do with that, because it's like, I recognize your voice. I recognize your face. I recognize your mannerisms. And so you didn't get on today and I went, oh, who are you? It was like, I knew you in my heart before I knew you on my live. What a tweetable.
Yeah, well, this is it. And I know it all sounds a bit sort of sentimental, but this is the whole people buy from people stuff. And I think until business, obviously we know that there are businesses who are growing into this and understanding it. I mean, I had a fantastic conversation this afternoon with a guy who's a filmmaker, actually, Gillian, and he's a younger man, could tell that he was from the sound of his voice and everything. But we had such a great conversation talking about his business, my business, where we could help, each other and everything else. And I think, this is the thing, is that when you really open up and you are prepared to show a bit of yourself, the more you grow to know each other through social media, through conversations and everything else, that's where the magic happens. So
love that. That's another tweetable. And I'm not a Twitter person. And now we have two tweetables. So that's awesome. So I see we have some comments. So I'm going to hop over to the comments. Lovely. And we got Kevin Turner in the house. He was awesome. We just love Kevin. We just love Kevin. He fills us in on all the details and just love him. Rock on, Ella and Gillian. Okay, we got the lovely Miss G. Hi, Gillian and Ella. Thrilled to be here. Woohoo! And we have Vicky. Hello, lovely ladies. You've been on her podcast. You've been on her podcast, haven't you?
I've been on Vicky's podcast. In fact, that was my very first podcast appearance, was with Vicky.
Yay! Podcasts are just awesome. And Vicky is one I highly recommend. I love her podcast. So
definitely.
Vicky. We love it. And her YouTube channel. Talk about visible. Vicky, she just like, oh my gosh, her YouTube channel and all her marketing content, it's like, it's blows away.
Gillian, I think that's what I was going to say. You know, I think it's people like Vicky. I mean, I knew of Vicky 2 years ago, and I think even though I didn't realise it, I'm sure, you know, it's people like Vicky who kind of, they've seeped into my mind, and they've kept me, you know, they've stayed there, and it's people like her that have made me think I can do this.
Yes.
So.
Yes. You just got a great testimonial, Vicky. We both love you. Her ears must be burning. Her ears must be burning here. Oh, Sarah. Hi, Gillian and Ella. We love her. And she does lives as well. So here's another person embracing visibility, getting out there with her lives.
Definitely.
We just love her. We just love her. Oh, next lovely lady who had a fabulous live yesterday with the great John Asperian. Nobody knows anybody without John. He is just like the little sun, and we're all the little planets that like rotate around John. So greetings from Belgium, Gillian and Ella. We are all 21. I love that. I love that. And Tina made such a beautiful comment prior, and I read it this morning, and she's so supportive of like, let age not be a barrier for anything. Yes. And because Tina's so involved with, you know, recruiters and recruitment, and this is so important. So that's wonderful that she is that supportive and, you know, believes in this. So yay. It's the sun.
There you go.
Oh, Ella, woo, we got the sun on here. This is just awesome. And it's so true, John. It's like, you know, you're just like in our solar system called LinkedIn, you're the sun. We're just like the little happy planets that are all spinning around you. And, you know, please don't ever let your light go out, because we'd all just
definitely not.
Orbit.
Definitely not. Don't put your lights out.
Wonderful. Yeah. Here's Vicky again. Video is really important. We just need to embrace each other for our talent, not the uncontrollables. Yeah. And oh boy, I was on a live last night where it was like all sorts of stuff were going, but it was like everybody was just like, they just kind of kept on trucking, you know, because things happen, tech happens. So you just gotta go with the flow. People are going to judge human nature. We just have to be secure enough in our talents to not worry or care about it. And it's so true. I heard a great quote once that said, what you think about me is none of my business. So judge away.
I love that. That's another tweetable.
Another tweetable. As I always say, our vibe attracts our tribe. The rest can move on to find who or what's right for them. That's right. Just it's a news feed. We don't call it a news feed for nothing. Scroll along. Okay. And then we have Sarah. It would be exhausting if everyone was your ideal client. That's so true. And don't you find that, Ella, that if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to nobody?
Exactly. And again, you know, this is chatting to this guy this afternoon. I was saying to him, you know, about sort of like really nailing who your ideal client is. You know, that whole thing about niching down, or I think you'd say niching, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
niche. But it's so important so that your message is crystal clear. And again, that's that whole thing about the visibility, the authenticity, the consistency, showing up frequently, making sure. I sound like I'm quoting from John's book here, don't I?
I just thought that. I absolutely just thought that, because it's like, isn't that where it's all laid out? That,
exactly.
You know, and that's amazing. But I just went, I'm flowing the chapters in my head as you were saying that. Honest.
Yes, but you know, these are all the things that really will attract. If you're being, as you say, consistent with all of that, then that will attract your ideal client. That will attract those shining lights into your ether. The whole idea of, you know, attract the best and reject the rest and all of that kind of thing, because that's what you want to do. And as Sarah said, you know, you can't have everybody as your ideal client. What you really want are your real shining stars, your North Stars, who are going to be great people to work with, great people to collaborate with. And once you've got them and they want to work with you, you can make wonderful music together and you can continue working, because they will always trust in you and believe in you. And you gather all that, as I say, and then all that wisdom and experience that you can bring in as somebody. If you're talking about somebody here who's old, as an older person, you've got so much to draw on. You've got so much to draw on. And I think that's the power of us as older entrepreneurs, Gillian.
I agree, and we have more stories.
Yeah,
we have more stories.
Yeah,
because we've been on the planet longer.
Yeah. But I did want to touch upon, the fact that, I know that there are people who will be feeling very self-conscious. But I think, the thing is get yourself in with a good group of people. Yes. That to me is really important. It's what helped me when I was starting to think about developing my own personal brand. And I was thinking, oh God, can I post that? Should I do this? Should I say that or whatever? The fact that I would be maybe in a Facebook community or a LinkedIn community like this, and share something with somebody or with a group of people privately and say, what do you think of this piece of content? What do you think of this video? Should I post this? I think that's really helps then to, buoy your confidence up and then just post it, for goodness sake. Put it out there, because what's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, if it completely dies a death, it doesn't matter. And again, I say to people, social media content, it's here today, gone tomorrow. So, unless don't really try to avoid taking stuff down or deleting it, because really it's gone, it's here and then it's gone, it's over in a flash. But just keep I know that we've talked about maybe our first video attempts and what they were like. They were, probably, but they're good learning curves, aren't they? Because we look at how we've progressed now, and I just think, because I know I've laid those pathways down in my head about what to say, how to say it, I still say and stuff like that. It's all part of my speech, but I feel far more confident about talking about my business because I've and expressing how I help people, because I've talked about it so much on video, on lives, on Clubhouse, and that's where the visibility piece really, really matters. The more you practice it, the more you show up, the more you do, I suppose, in a way, Gillian, sort of be prepared to be a little bit vulnerable, then, I think it will benefit you in the end.
I agree. And I love the bit about how don't worry about your old stuff. You have to start somewhere, and you can't start perfect. You have to, it's just like I tell people, if you were training for a marathon, you don't just run out and run the marathon. You have to, kind of edge into it. In the beginning, you might not even make it a block. And I know once when I was kind of learning to do video at the very beginning and trying to get my courage up to do it, there was this one gal I followed on YouTube, and I absolutely loved her videos, but they were so slick, and I went, she's just incredible. So like, if she's could do it so perfectly, where do I start? And then one day I went on her channel and I realized in her videos, she had her older content, and her older content sucked. It was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah. But she left it there, and we could see her, and she was nervous, and she didn't have a mic, and she was just awful. But she left them there, and then you went, wow. So here's where she started, and here's where she is now. That means anybody can do it, and maybe we'll never get to that level. But who cares? You will improve, and you got to get if you actually just go to LinkedIn and search, I think it's like first video as a hashtag, you're going to see tons of people's videos. And then that you'll go, okay, they did it. They did it.
Yeah.
Why can't I do it?
Yeah. And I think this is the thing as well, is, just give stuff a try. I mean, as I say, I'm very keen on Instagram. I love Instagram Reels. But there's so many different ways that you can do them. You don't have to do all the dancing and the finger pointing and the lip syncing and everything else. There's so many ways that you can put your own audio voiceover over something, so that you don't necessarily need to use music. You can just talk into the camera, just like a normal video, as long as it fits into that 30 seconds or now 60 seconds on Instagram. You're fine. But Instagram reel content is getting tremendous reach. So if you're on Instagram, it's worth giving it a try.
And you've ported some of that over to LinkedIn, right? You've posted some of that stuff here. Wow.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you could take from Instagram and put it on the LinkedIn must-have list, which would it be?
Oh goodness me! I'd just like stories to improve.
Okay, what's the difference? Because I don't know the difference. So what's the difference between Instagram stories and LinkedIn stories? How do they differ?
Well, I just find the functionality on LinkedIn stories very sort of clunky. You can't. There's so many different fonts on the LinkedIn stories. There's so many different stickers that you can add, little gifts and everything else. You can just change so you can change the color of the backgrounds and all sorts. But I mean, Instagram stories has been. Well, certainly, as I say, in the 4 years that I've been using Instagram, the way that stories has developed has been tremendous. And I mean, maybe LinkedIn will catch up sometime, but it's really interesting. I think, some people wonder about why LinkedIn stories, what they're there for. And I think they're for some people who don't know how to create content on the feed, I think using LinkedIn stories is certainly a viable alternative. And it's better to be posting on stories than not posting on anything at all. And for some people, they do just want that sort of side swipe looking at content rather than having to read through stuff. I mean, some people don't come on LinkedIn because they say I can't be bothered to read through all of those things. So those long posts, especially those 3,000 characters.
I know those are. So what's your opinion on those? I just don't know. I don't mind reading an article because I know I'm going to, when I go to read an article, I know it's an article. I really don't understand the purpose of 3,000. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I've even read a whole, I got bored. I got bored. Sorry.
No, I agree with you, Gillian. I agree with you. I'm sure there's bound to be some thinking in LinkedIn's madness. Oh God, did I already say that? But
method to the madness there.
Method to the madness, but but no, it's as I say, I think the ability to post on Reels and then crop your video and put it onto LinkedIn is really helpful. And especially, you've got to be, content creation is time consuming, isn't it? So if you can repurpose it as much as possible, and know the tools and techniques to do that, then it's going to make life so much easier for you. Create the quality content first and then repurpose it. That's my view.
Awesome. And you're probably the one to teach that because you have this awesome background in teaching, social media, multiple platforms. So with that in mind, how would people work with you? Do you have any special thing you're doing? Here's your opportunity to share your light, Ella.
Thank you, Gillian. Well, I love teaching. I'm very happy to work with people one-to-one. I have an offer called the Ella Explainer, which is a bit of a sort of diet. Yeah, I kind of go in there going there like a doctor, diagnosing what your social media problems may be. But it's also you coming to me and saying, "Oh, I've got problems with this and this and this," But it's got to be things that we can work on and try and solve in a fairly short time. Because what I want people to do is have success. And as we know, social media is a very sort of long game. So if people the client would say to me 2 or 3 things they'd like to work on. I'll go and have a look at their social media feeds, do a little bit of an audit. Then I spend an hour like this on a call with them. But then this is the good part. I give them homework to do and hold them accountable by giving them 3 tasks that they can go away and work on. And then I email them and phone them to make sure they're doing their homework.
Accountability. You need it.
Accountability. That's what counts. But I'm very happy to offer that to people. Or if people want to work, I know for a lot of people, if they don't want to work on their own one-to-one, I can certainly do training to 2 people or 3 people, because some people prefer to learn in a group and feed off of each other.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm very happy to teach people in the way they want to be taught. To me, that is the key to effective teaching.
Awesome. And do you have like any Facebook groups or anything? Do you have anything you do?
No, I just have my. I've got my. I've got my offers, which are on my website, which is Much More Social, which is the name of my business, and I do have an email newsletter that people can sign up for, where I hope that they get more support. I try to give them more support and more tips and tricks and whatever in that. So yeah. So, but I'm very much that fitting in with the client's needs. It's a flexible approach. I will bend and flex to help the client.
Because you go to the gym.
Because I go to the gym, yeah.
You've learned to be flexible and flex those muscles and keep them up. But I think that's awesome. And you obviously really know your stuff. You're so visible, and you're just good in your own skin. And I love that. I love that about you. And just, I actually one time sat in on one of your presentations. I think it was the Digital Women's Summit or some sort of group like that.
Women,
and
yes.
Yes. And I got to sit in on your presentation, and I thought it was fabulous. So it's like you are an excellent teacher, easy peasy. You might as well steal it from me, because that's what you do. It was easy peasy, so easy to follow you. And that is the one thing that I would really caution people with. You might look at somebody and say, wow, that person really does social media well. But if they don't know how to teach it to you, how to help you learn it, then it's just stuff, it's just stuff.
Well,
so
yeah, I think this is where people get disheartened, and then they probably feel that they've wasted their money, and then they become disillusioned with social media, and then they stop posting on their channels. So, I definitely want to help people to overcome that, because, social media is a wonderful way to connect with your audience, and a very powerful way of communicating. So as we've seen today, Gillian.
Yes. And visibility has no age limit. So it doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. Everybody has a place. Everybody needs to just be able to come in here and just be themselves and share your message and speak from the heart. And, the right people are waiting for you. They're waiting for you to be visible. So.
Exactly. There are people out there who are definitely waiting for you. This is the thing. I think as long as, this is what I say about the clear messaging. If your messaging is clear, then it will resonate with somebody. There will be somebody who will go, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I definitely need to work Gillian.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up now. So we'll say goodbye and we'll be back next week. And thank you. Thank you so much, Ella, for coming
I've
today.
loved it. Thank you so much, Gillian. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.